Hello, welcome to my Touhou 7 1cc. I've been playing Touhou 7 for about 3 years now, so I'd say I'm pretty good at it. I got my first Lunatic 1cc recently, so I thought it'd be cool to do a normal 1cc and just commentate over the process of doing a 1cc. I'm not quite good enough to do a Lunatic guide, maybe a hard mode guide, but I thought it'd be good to start with normal on the first Touhou game I ever 1cc'd. There isn't too much to talk about on level 1. If you have trouble with level 1, like, okay, here's just like a simple like rule of thumb. If you have trouble on level 1, like if you are dying on level 1, then you're not gonna 1cc. Just keep playing the game. Like, honestly, at that point, like, just keep playing the game. You don't even need tips. Just keep playing it. And once you can, get through level 1, simple as easy, then, then go back to a guide, I'd say. Level 1 is really just for getting resources, and so is level 2, but level 2 is a little bit trickier. Level 3 is trickier too, and I wouldn't say the real game of Touhou starts until level 4. On normal mode, I tend to not use any bombs or let myself die at all until stage 4. Sometimes I'll bomb on stage 3 and that'll be okay. But usually I wait until stage 4 to use any of my resources. I'll restart if I die on stage 1 or 2. Hard mode and Lunatic mode, usually I'm fine with using a few bombs, but I try to keep the misses to a minimum. Letty's spell cards are pretty easy to deal with. It's mostly just micro dodging. If you hold shift, I mean, I'm not gonna give basic Touhou information. If you hold shift, you go slow, and it shows you your hitbox. And this fight is pretty much just a tutorial, pretty much showing you like, hey, you can see your hitbox, and you can dodge bullets very tightly in this game compared to Touhou 6. I'd say a general, like... Oh, and there's the border. The border is something that, in most playthroughs, is just gonna come up whenever it comes up. It's kind of complicated. It has something to do with the fucking... There are, like, 3 different stats that determine if a border will pop up. I don't remember. Just, if you collect the cherry points, you'll get a border at some point. And it gives you a free hit or a free screen clear. And if you don't do either of those things, you get a score bonus. Haha, that was me from the future. But the thing I was gonna say was, I think one of the, like, number 1 tips for new Touhou players is, I'd say, like, keep movement to a minimum. Like, if you're dodging bullets, kind of just, like, think about where they will go and move very slightly around them. The more movement you do, the more opportunities you give yourself to just, like, run into a bullet. And as you see, these bullets that are the homing bullets that are targeted towards your player, you pretty much want to make sure that they have as little time to get you as possible, so you kind of just move really slightly. You'll see that later in, like, stage 4. This spell card is kind of scary at first, but then you realize, like, yeah, if you do not move, like, look at the directions that the lines of bullets go in, and they kind of just go around you if you go in the right spot. Whereas the green ones, you kind of have to, like, micro-dodge a bit. I should put, like, a glossary of keywords that I'm going to use, because that would be pretty helpful. This one is pretty much just micro-dodging. The thing that they always say is, like, look a little bit in front of your character. I'd say, like look at your... When it's, like, tight like that and you're micro-dodging, look at your character, but if you have the opportunity to kind of look a little bit ahead to make sure you're not walling yourself. Here's some streaming. Streaming is what they call it when bullets are homing in on you and you move slowly so that they don't spread across the whole screen. And, oh yeah, if you go to the top of the screen, you collect the... I don't need to explain basic Touhou game mechanics. If you need to know Touhou game mechanics, go to the Touhou wiki. those fairies are kind of annoying, but on normal mode you can kind of just like wait on the left side of the screen and then go to the right side and cut through. This one, go through the arrowheads, and then be very careful about dodging the green ones. If you are having trouble getting through the arrowheads by the time the green ones are there, you probably should bomb. Although it's a lot easier to cut through on this one than it is on higher difficulties. What is this one? Is this one where she moves around? Yeah, this one is really confusing because, yeah, it's the one where she moves the bullets. Just be very careful about when they move like that. I think there's a sound cue, if I'm not mistaken. This one is really just streaming, and then after the arrowheads go away, you have to be careful about the circular bullets. This one really got me when I first played Touhou. This is one of those like rainfall attacks. I'd say this is another one where it's kind of a show of a very simple like rule of Touhou, and I'd say look for like big. If you notice, I look for big spaces between bullets. And yeah, I'm not moving all over the place all around them. With this one, I'm not moving all over the place all around them, even though the bullets are going in all kinds of directions. I'm mostly just staying near the center and dodging horizontally. If you can pretty much lock your movement to one axis, that is helpful. And also, I would say ignoring diagonals can be helpful too. Just simplify your movement as much as possible. Alrighty, stage 3. This is when things kinda get real. There's gonna be a lot of difficult. I'd say that there's quite a bit of difficult enemy patterns in this stage, and yeah, here's mid-boss Alice. Alice actually shows up 3 times in this stage, I think. I don't remember if it's twice or 3 times. But yeah, for this one, make sure you look for, you know, big open spaces. Do not let them go into you, but also make sure you do not go into them. That sounds like a stupid thing to say, but you know, just don't move when you don't have to. For this enemy portion, it's kind of good to try to stay near the top of the screen. If you can cut around the bullets, that's good, because they kind of try to wall you onto the bottom of the screen. This one, don't be afraid to bomb if you are scared. You have to be very like careful about this one, because it's pretty fast and confusing, I'd say, and it gets pretty dense, and it's pretty random too. So if you have a bomb, like don't be afraid to just hold your finger on the bomb button. Yeah, she comes back. Does she come back a 3rd time? I don't remember. But yeah, here's another stage portion. Just, you know, make sure you kill a lot of these fairies. They do big barrages, and if you kill them before they can really do what they need to do, it makes it a lot easier. Like this part, yeah. I don't really have to worry about anything going on there because I killed them. And yeah, this is Alice. So you fight her twice as a mid-boss, and then you fight her as a boss. This first spell card is kind of weird. It's like the only time I'd say in this game, go to one particular part of the screen, go to the right. Because she moves toward the right, and her spell cards are kind of off-center and easier to dodge on the right than the left. For hard mode in Lunatic, you'll have to know to do that, because it's like super hard to do if you try to stay in the middle. I don't know, it's kind of funny. Usually spell cards are pretty symmetrical, but for that one, make sure you stay near the right and micro dodge. This one is pretty fast and random. I'd say be prepared to bomb this if you are going to. I would recommend, you know, you conserve your resources. You still conserve your resources and maybe bomb once on stage 3, but I would recommend not bombing until stage 4. If you really want a lot of resources for the final boss. And she doesn't have too much health either. This spell card, this non-spell is really weird. It ends like weirdly. I don't know why it does that. It just doesn't really go for very long. It just disappears out of nowhere. This one I'd say is probably, it's really easy but also really hard. If you you shouldn't die to this spell card. You can bomb it. Like, it's really easy to bomb because you can tell because you're going to be walled, but I'd say just, make sure you have space and make sure they don't wall you, and try to stay close enough to her. This one is mostly, like, tap dodging horizontally. If you can get a hang of, like, tapping so you don't move too far at a time, then you can tap dodge around this pretty easily. It looks kind of scary to, like, follow the pattern of it, but it's really not that hard once you have a good grasp on your character's movement. And this is our second to last spell card, which I would probably say is the hardest one because of how tight and random it is. This one you want to make sure you stay in the middle, but don't, like, bottom hug. Try to move through the bullets. Like, dodge around them, don't move too much, dodge around them, and when you do dodge them, go up. And I'd say the same for this one, it's pretty focused on making sure you do not get walled at the bottom. Those purple bullets have a much smaller hitbox than they look like they do. I'd recommend, if you haven't before, just kind of, like, do a test run of trying to figure out what your character's hitbox is like and what the bullet hitboxes are like. The arrowhead hitboxes are also smaller than they look, but not to the same crazy degree as the bubbles. Those purple bullets have, like, extremely tiny hitboxes for what they are. Anyway, this is stage 4. If you don't know how to stream by now, you'll have to learn if you want to get past this stage. Most of the enemies in this stage will shoot homing bullets at you. As long as you know how to stream properly. See, as you can see, I am maximizing my space by not moving very much until, like, I'd say, like, don't move until, like, kind of the very last moment, and then move just a little bit to get out of the bullet's way. Sometimes just streaming is not enough. If the screen fills up too much, you will have to cut through the empty spaces in the bullet barrages. Don't be afraid to kind of, like, go around the whole screen and kind of, like, go to the top and then circle back around. It's a lot safer in some segments, and before these fairies appear, those spinner enemies don't actually have a hitbox, but after this next barrage of spinner enemies will have hitboxes. It's kind of weird. With these fairies, I'm playing ReimuA, so they're really easy to deal with if you can get as many of their points as possible. Homing can take care of them really well. If not, try to kind of sort of memorize where they are, and if you don't know where they are, just run to them as quickly as possible and kill them as fast as you can. And see, the bullet barrages are a lot tighter this time, so there is a lot more going through them. This stage will kind of test the hitbox that hurts you. Your hurtbox is different from your collision hitbox. There are times when you'll hit the wall and it'll feel like you can go a little bit more to the left and you cannot, and that's why I bombed there, because I knew I could not squeeze between those bullets. And it's spring. This is Lily White. Don't be afraid to bomb at a reasonable time here. She has a lot of health, and bombing doesn't really do much to her, so, you can't really bomb through her, but this attack right here is very unpredictable, the one with the circular bullets. The arrowheads can be streamed through easily, but the circular bullets you have to be very careful on a case-by-case basis. Make sure you don't move too much, because some of them move at different speeds than others. Just look for good empty spaces, and if you see yourself about to die, don't be afraid to bomb, because she gives you a bomb back. Try to pick the bomb up. If you drop it, don't worry. The bullet barrage after is pretty intense, so I've dropped it quite a few times. Make sure you never drop a 1-up, though. That's the worst feeling in the world. You don't necessarily have to stream. When bullets home in on you, you don't always necessarily have to stream. There's also misdirection where, if it's aimed at you, you wait until the very last moment, and then you cut to very far away so that you have more space. It's kind of a case-by-case basis. I very rarely use misdirection. I usually just do streaming. I'd say for these ones, be very, kind of just think in your head, those big spreads of bullets, just imagine where they will go, The pattern is very simple. Like, the nitty-gritty of it is hard, but you're not supposed to micro-dodge them, so it's okay. Keep on the left or the right, and just kill the fairy that comes up so that there aren't as many bullets, and then just kind of calculate in your head how the other one's pattern will be and avoid it. This buff fairy also gives you a bomb, so don't be super afraid to bomb it. I always have trouble with it. I used to be a lot better at it. I might bomb in this replay. I do not remember. No, it ran away. I don't know if it's... I don't know if it really matters if it runs away versus bombing it, like, score-wise. But yeah, there are a few fairies in this game that can cause you some trouble. And they're usually right before bosses. But this is... shit, which one is this? This is Lunasa, Prism River. And I'm gonna have to show Marissa and Sakuya's segments for this fight. For Reimu, it's pretty much just waiting for the bullets to get less packed, and then cutting through them. And then, you know, plenty of, you know, micro-dodging. This next one is a pretty easy, you can macro-dodge around the lines, or if you're getting in trouble, kind of micro-dodge through the middle of them. It's pretty easy to macro-dodge. Honestly, I don't have a ton of tips for the Prism River Sisters, because I usually just kind of get through them, and I always forget which patterns they have because I play, like, all the characters in this game. The shot types are kind of something that disappoints me about this game, because none of them are really my favorite. I like Marissa. I think this is the one where, like, I like Marissa, and I don't think I really like the other characters all too much. This one is streaming, and then there's a point where you'll notice there's a big empty space and the arrowheads that they shoot, so you can kind of cut back so they don't wall you. Try not to let them wall you like they did for me there. And this is another, pretty much of the same one, where I think this one is, I mostly kind of just stay to just horizontal, making sure I'm not at the bottom of the screen, just in case I need to, you know, gain some distance. But it shouldn't be too hard. I think Reimu has the easiest Prism River segment. Sakuya's is pretty hard, but I'm very used to it. I think Reimu's might be the easiest. Sakuya's might be the hardest, but also Marissa's is weird. I forget they have different spell cards, honestly. Like, I forget every time. And with Patchouli, I always remember that it's different every time, because I'm always scared when I fight Patchouli, but with this fight, I'm just like, I just do whatever. This one is really just dodge. I don't know how to input a lot of these. I guess I should say at this point, if something is too hard for you, like, feel free to bomb. A lot of these, like, more tighter spell cards are bombable. Like, this one is definitely one that can get you into trouble, because it feels very random. I'd say don't try to micro-dodge between the rice bullets. Like, when they turn into crystals, try just going around them and, like, not going between them. Because the hitbox is a little bit deceiving. This one is a lot easier than it looks, but it can get you into trouble. If you find the empty space, I feel like most of this is just dodge, honestly. But as you can see, I get walled there. And yeah, I don't know what to say about the Prism River Sisters, honestly. I guess it's Marissa or Sakuya time. So this is Marissa's first non-spell. It shouldn't be too hard, because you can see the lines of arrowheads, they kind of even out, and there are these big spaces between the lines and the circles that are pretty easy to cut through. I guess I should talk about the different shot types in this game. I think Marissa's the most fun, but for beginners, yeah, I skipped because there's all three spell card there. This one is very similar. You dodge the spaces next to the lines, but yeah, anyway, as I was saying, I think if you're starting off the game, ReimuA or Sakuya I think are both really good because of the homing. Sakuya particularly, like, you don't even need to aim with Sakuya, but that can be a little bit of a downside for learning. This one, yeah, I honestly don't know what to say about Marissa's because, you know, it's mostly just non-spells that are different. Sakuya has some pretty difficult spell cards. Yeah, the other good thing about Sakuya is that she has 4 bombs to start with, whereas I think Marissa has 2 and Reimu has 3. But Sakuya's very good beginner character. I think she's the reason that this game is so easy for beginners, that and the border. This one, you know, you want to be careful, don't move too much, you know, wait to see where the lasers go, and then just, you know, very carefully go between the circular bullets. Is it really? I forgot that it's just the non-spells that are different between the different characters, and I died there. I don't know when this playthrough is from. This is probably from, like, 2024 or something. But this is another case of going between the lasers and, you know, just avoiding the bullets. It's really not... Honestly, I don't know how important this segment even is. I'm kind of just doing this here for importance. And oh, here's a spell card. This is important. And I bet you know what I'm gonna say. Just dodge. You can get walled here. It's pretty easy to get walled. But you know, if you get walled, you can just bomb, and it's not a huge issue. And they're very big open spaces between them, so it shouldn't be too hard. All right, back to stage 5. Stage 5 is stressful. The stage portion is pretty hard, but at this point you'll be pretty far into the game, so you'll be pretty focused, hopefully. Honestly, a big part of playing Touhou is confidence and being focused and making sure you know what you're doing. Because if you're too scared, you're probably going to waste all your bombs. And if you're too confident, you're probably going to waste all your lives. I'd say with bombing, if you don't know where you're going to be in like 3 to 5 seconds, then bomb. Like, if you think you will die, then bomb. And also, if you are at a skill level where you know you're gonna be dying quite a few times throughout the run, like, don't be afraid to use too many bombs. I think it's better to waste bombs than it is to waste lives. If you die, you go back to your max bomb amount. So, if you die with, like, 1 bomb, then you lose that bomb. That is a bomb that is wasted. Whereas if you die with no bombs left, you know, honestly, depending on your skill level or how hard the game is, there's not really much you could do. These ones are really funny. These shots were really scary, and I actually died there. I don't usually die there. If you wait for them to spread out, they're not too hard, but I got a little bit self-conscious, I think. I think I got, like, a little bit cocky / scared at the same time. This non-spell, like, bomb it. Really, like, genuinely. I'm not gonna say too many times, like, oh, you have to bomb this. Bomb this one. Like, really. Just fucking bomb this one. Make sure you bomb it at the right time. Because if you bomb it, like, a certain way in, it's actually harder to do because you get, like, the arrows, but you also get, like, kind of walled. I don't know how to explain it. I think it depends on the bomb, too. But, honestly, Yomu... Part of the reason I conserve so many resources is because Yomu is genuinely one of the most fucking asshole-ish Touhou bosses, and I'd say don't be afraid to bomb a lot of her attacks. This one you should try to go through, but don't be afraid to bomb, at least, like, you know, go through the first cycle and then maybe bomb it if you're having trouble with it. She slows down time, which means it's actually better to unfocus. I do a lot of these fights focused because it's easier to, you know, graze bullets, but you need that extra little bit of speed to cut through them, so it's good to unfocus. This one, they want you to go in a circle. It's fun. Going in a circle is always fun. And then there's this thing, bomb it. I don't know how to fucking do this shit. I think I used to, maybe I used to do this, I don't know. At this point, I have so many resources. Look at how many lives I have. I have so many resources, like, I don't even need to worry about how to do that properly. And if I did know how to do it properly, the thing I would be saying is just dodge. With this one, you do really want to look out for, like, moving horizontally and just, like, stare at the fucking screen. Like, stare at the screen. And make sure, you know, if you're getting worried, then bomb it. But something you might not notice if you're staring intently at the screen and not really noticing the differences is that every time she uses this non-spell, it's actually easier. She uses it 3 times in the game. I'd say definitely bomb the first time, maybe bomb the second time, and you'll see on stage 6 the third time she uses it. You don't even need to worry about that one, it's really easy. I think this one might be one of the most bombable spell cards for me. I don't even think I capped it, but today I did a run, and I think it was the first time I actually realized like what you're supposed to do here. You're supposed to shoot at her, and then when she shoots her barrage, you're supposed to cut to the other side of the screen and then cut through them, but it's so random. It's always clustered in such an annoying way. I never depend on being able to do this spell card. I'm always just fucking bombing this one. And then there's this one, which I don't know how to explain this one. This one might be another, like, just bomb it. You want to, like, yeah, like, slip between the kunais and the, or are they kunais or are they? No, they're knives. Slip between the knives and, like, that part of the bullets, but, like, look how tight that is. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong, or if it's just a weird spell card or non-spell, but it always looks like... It always looks like I'm, like, cheating whenever I do that one. It just doesn't look like I'm doing it right. Don't do what I'm doing here. That'll kill you. Stay at the bottom of the screen. Because they're going to come from the top and the bottom of the screen. So, like, stay right at the bottom, and then try to cut through as fast as possible. I think with this one you can focus a little bit more, because it's a little bit, you know... And if you can kind of imagine where the bullets are going to move after they speed back up, you don't have to necessarily get through the entire barrage. Depending on your shot type, make sure you aim at her, because she keeps going from the right to the left, and that's another thing that's really annoying about Yomu, is she moves a lot. There's a little indicator at the bottom of the screen that shows you where the enemy is, so you don't have to look at the boss sprite. You just have to look at, like, the Y-axis on the bottom of the screen. This one, make sure, unlike that last spell card, make sure you're not at the bottom. You want to be kind of a little bit near, like, not the middle, but, like, halfway toward the middle. And, you know, dodge the, like, long strings of bullets, and the longer they stay on the screen, the more they spread out, so you can cut between, and you kind of want to, she moves around a lot, but you kind of want to stay around near the center, because the way that she throws them, it's moving you more and more toward the wall, and if you get walled, you bomb. That's like a situation where I think you should always bomb. If you're stuck on the wall, there's like nothing you can fucking do. This one is very similar to the last few, where it's just like, try to go as fast as possible, cut through. And if you have an idea of how they're going to move after they speed up, you know, keep that in mind as well. But this one I bomb a few times. I would say try, you know, even though it is the last spell of the stage 5 boss, like, try not to bomb this one. Like, try to have bombs. You'll see, I'm pretty sure I die on stage... Oh, wait, never mind, I die there. Try to have a few bombs in stock for stage 6, because you get an extra bomb from the bid boss. So just, I think it's good to not die to the stage portion of stage 6, because it's really easy to bomb. It kind of feels like a waste to die to the stage portion of stage 6. And so yeah, this is stage 6. It's not very long, but it's, you know, it's a lot of bullets on the screen, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem, especially if you have a border or if you bomb or something. And there's a point where they auto-collect. It should be around here? Yeah, and they'll automatically go off the screen because the mid-boss. That's actually something to kind of keep in mind for this game specifically, is there's a lot of points where they'll throw a bunch of bullets at you, but then they auto-clear because, like, the boss or the mid-boss appears. But yeah, as you can see, this non-spell is a lot easier than the first time she did this looking, it's always her intro non-spell, but it's really easy this time. This one can kind of trip you up, like, the first time you play it, because she doesn't actually slow down time when she turns all the bullets white. Don't be afraid to bomb this one, because she'll give you a bomb back anyway. It's also, like, very, you know, it's very close. You're kind of forced down to the bottom, but you also don't really have very many opportunities down there. And yeah, this is Yuyuko. It's Yuyuko time. I have fought Yuyuko so much. I spent so long, when I first played this game, I spent so long practicing Yuyuko, and I would say it's a pretty easy fight, honestly. I think Yomu is more annoying. But with this one, you can get walled. You want to macro dodge along the line of the rice bullets and then go between the Mentos bullets. I hope that is understandable without a glossary, but it's helpful to know the name of the bullets. This is my favorite spell card in Touhou. You have to cut through the arrows on the left, and it keeps forcing you left to right, left to right. If you can keep as much time in the center as possible to try to kill her and end the spell card as quickly as possible, that's good. With a homing character, it's kind of just going through the motions of cutting through the arrowheads and avoiding the laser. The laser should not be the thing to kill you. If you think it's going to kill you, that's probably the point where you should bomb, because if you can't go through those arrowheads, then you're probably going to die. Like, if you're too afraid to go through the arrowheads, you're probably going to die. This one is one that I bomb pretty frequently, even though it is a non-spell. It's one... A lot of her spell cards are made easier by cutting back, but with this one it can be a little hard. You see there's spaces in the bubble barrages where you can cut back, but there's so many bullets on the screen to cut through, it can be very difficult. And if you do bomb once, you shouldn't have to cut back at all. You should just be able to dodge pretty simply and then, you know, take that non-spell down. This one is... Does this have the extending ones? No, this one is... I guess you could say it's kind of like streaming. You have to make sure you don't move too much, so you have as much of the screen as possible, and then you can kind of cut around, as you can see. You can even cut through the Mentos bullets, but that's not... I wouldn't say that that's as safe. You'll be getting a lot of borders here. I'd say for those ones where they need you to cut around, just, you know, try to get the border bonus. I kind of like, if there's something that I'm confident I can do, but the border can be helpful, I just wait until the border is as small as possible, and then I press the button for the free screen clear. Yeah, a lot of these are so dense, it can be really good to use the screen clear. I don't know how to explain how these kunai move. They just do, and don't get in their way. I don't know how to explain it besides, if your brain can understand it, they'll just go around you and you won't have to move too much. And this is Yuyiko's creature. I really like this spell card because it's stylish, but playing it's really scary. You're supposed to just, you know, kind of stay in one place and then go to the other side and avoid the creature. But you can go up to the top to kind of have some extra space from it, but it is not super easy to dodge up there. I was trying to remember which non-spell this was. It's this one. Honestly, like, if you don't move very much, it kind of just passes through you. This one, I don't even know how to do this one properly because I just do it right every time. Because, yeah, you kind of just stream it, and it looks really crazy because of the directions the arrowheads move, but it's not super crazy. This one is the one with the extending butterflies. What they want you to do is they want you to stream the butterflies and be very careful, and then if they extend far enough, they will spread out again, and you can cut between, but I usually just bomb this one. Or I die. I'm not very proud of that one. But yeah, you can cut through, and it's not super hard if you wait long enough. But it can be pretty stressful, you know, if you look at how the bullets look right now, it's pretty stressful. I don't know, I got really cocky here because I was like, look at how good I'm doing with all my lives, so I was just like, I don't need to bomb this. This one, you know, you can just cut between, you can go between, the purple bullets there, obviously. It shouldn't scare you too much by this point, when she throws purple bullets at you. The rice bullets will go down vertically, and then the butterflies extend once again. I'd say they're really unpredictable, so don't be afraid to bomb. Like, be prepared to bomb. Have your finger on the bomb button, but she's got a lot of bomb armor here, so, you know, don't bomb to get through the spell card. Just, you know, bomb if you are in trouble, which I might do here. Maybe? Yeah. And the way that these final spells work usually is that they have bomb armor, but then once you get a certain way through the health bar decreases faster and bombing does do more damage. I believe that that's how it works. But yeah, that's Yukiko. Or is it? This is the true final spell, Resurrection Butterfly. This first barrage you can just go between. You should never have to worry about them. Take a breather whenever those bullets go across the screen, whenever those, you know, purple and blue butterflies go across the screen. And for these red ones, you can wait until they get to the bottom and try to dodge them that way, but I find that pretty hard to do. I usually just, you know, I go between them up there, and you can see the movement I'm doing is pretty, like, complicated, but I literally just today realized, oh, if you go up far enough and you just dodge horizontally, you can cut between, or, you can dodge between the red bullets pretty easily. It should not be too hard. If this part of the game is really just a test of skill, like, it is like, how good can you dodge and how good can you keep up what you were doing without absolutely losing your mind and getting scared and dying. And as you can see, I'm pretty good at this game, so I don't, you know, panic too much. This one is not a hard spell card. It is really just a test of your courage, as you have to fucking just, like, sit with the idea that you may or may not have lost the whole game, you know. You'll have to sit with that for a whole minute. But once you do it, that's it. That's Touhou 7.